Next up, representing Team 50s, Susan Henderson is a 7-time Pushcart Prize nominee, the recipient of an Academy of American Poets Award, and the author of 2 novels. Put your hands together for Susan.
Technical issues. Thank you. I'm a novelist, and I do the bulk of my writing as I walk through my Long Island neighborhood. I wear big 70s-style headphones to show I'm busy, then talk scenes into my voice memo app. Later, I transcribe the jumbled thoughts, lots of them melodramatic or just plain dumb. But if I fiddle long enough, if I go back again and again, I can make the words sound like the writer people think I am. Lately on these walks, my thoughts are consumed by my other job, the one that caught me off guard, looking after my father. We've never had straight-up talks about aging or needing help. This is the guy, after all, who sewed up his own wound with fishing line so he could get back to chopping wood. But I finally found the courage to convince him to move to New York. I can keep an eye on him without upending my own life. Besides, I miss his easy pace, meals that take all day to cook, a football game playing in the background. Why did I ever think visiting twice a year was enough? Dad's nickname for me is Pest, and I imagine it's what he'll call me for meddling. But honestly, I wouldn't mind hearing it again. All the houses I consider moving him into are walking distance from mine, so I can just pop over with my dogs and say, "Want to mail a letter with me?" There's a white farmhouse I like with giant windows. He'd have a perfect view for his morning ritual of grape nuts in his underwear. Except the view goes both ways, so no giant windows. There's a sweet ranch house backed up to the woods, and I can picture him, coffee in hand, gazing at the wildlife. But the house sits a good distance from the other neighbors on the street, and I don't know. One of my dad's favorite things is chatting with neighbors on trash day as they drag their cans to the curb. If he knew my neighbors, he might prefer some distance, like I do. My neighbors are into bumper stickers and flags that root for a world I don't want. Who waves a flag with an AK-47 on it? But when I imagine Dad here, it seems like something he'd know how to navigate. Anyway, the good news is that I found the perfect cottage. It looks like the plug-in gingerbread house I had from when I was a kid, and it's exactly between our house and his favorite bakery here. Time, I suppose, to share what I've been up to with my husband. He gives me a sad look, then hugs me close, because my dad died almost 4 years ago, and what am I even doing? Maybe it's the writer in me always revising, wanting another shot at those last weeks with Dad. The actual version, the draft I'd like to crumple up, is this. When Dad's health suddenly fails, I rush back to my childhood home, my bag heavy with all the work I'll get to in my free time. I follow the blaring TV to the den, a dim room cluttered with pill bottles, and Dad's recliner pulled right up to the screen. And there he is, frail, unshaven, and shivering. Right away, I appoint myself caregiver and carry around a little notepad to jot down every calorie he's eaten. When the numbers fall short, I replace his meals with Ensure shakes. Forget my writing deadlines, there's too much laundry and mopping up accidents in the bathroom. By now, my dad's grown too weak to lift a spoon to his mouth, so I do it. I've mixed Ensure with ice cream, and after one bite, he turns to the wall so I won't see his tears. Days blur, tender and relentless. I push, he resists, we're both exhausted, and one day I lose it. I shout, "You're not even trying." And he tells me, not in a mean way, but still, to go back to Long Island. And I take him up on it. When he waves from behind the storm door, I know it's the last time I'll see him. This is at the very start of the pandemic, and when I'm back in New York and he's lifted into the ambulance only a few weeks later, no one is allowed to ride with him. No one is allowed to visit him in the hospital, where he dies alone, weighing 100 pounds. But let me tell you about the revised version I crave. He lives down the street from me in the gingerbread house. I see him regularly, but I still have my life, career, dogs. And when I stop by, we do all the simple things I didn't think of before. Sipping hot chocolate on cold days, moving his favorite chair to a sunnier room. And if he wants to sit an inch from the TV, I pull my chair beside him. Sometimes we look through his old tackle box and he teaches me about tying flies. And at mealtime, he might not eat, that's still his choice. I cook anyway. The house smells more like home. In the revision, I have no job title, no agenda for him. We don't fight over calories, I'm just his daughter. For a while, I think I'm done house hunting. When I see a porch with 2 empty chairs just right for us to sit on, and there's even a shed in back that's perfect for his fishing poles and waders. Yes, all that stuff's been given away. I know it's clearly a problem that's going to persist for a while. But something has happened to me on these walks. The headphones are off. My eyes aren't on my cell. I still talk into my app when I have a good idea, but mostly I'm looking up and out. After 2 decades of living in this neighborhood, I'm finally learning the names of the streets. And I'm seeing beyond the bumper stickers and flags to catch little hints of my neighbors' personalities. The native plant enthusiast with his carefully tended garden of weeds. The tiny fairy village someone's built at the base of a tree. We're all walking around half-finished, works in progress, and none of us wants to be judged by an early draft. Now when I go to Dad's favorite bakery, I make small talk with the woman behind the counter instead of just handing over my card. Little revisions, scene by scene. It's like Dad's been nudging me to be a part of this neighborhood, to look at this wild mess of being alive together and find some beauty in it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan, for sharing that beautiful story. If you're new to our night, we laugh, we cry, we embrace the silliness of life and the seriousness of it as well. And that story really makes me think about how important it is to bridge these divides that we are in and to be able to experience and celebrate our full humanity. I really feel that in this room, that you are all here to sort of bear witness and to find connection with us and with each other. And that's really meaningful to me personally and to, us as a collective society. So thank you for sharing that story, and thank you to all of you for making space for it.